Hello, I'm Anthony David Hobbs, and this is my review of the 1980 movie The Howling. It is my visual aid. It's, well, technically not a werewolf. It's a kind of action figure, a mutant wolf man, yeah. And he's got this cybernetic suit on. But yeah, that's a good image of a half man, half wolf figure, yeah. And, anyway, the point is, I remember I first heard about Howling 5 when I was about 12. I saw it in a video store, and of course I'd never heard of the Howling, but I put two and two together. If there's a Howling 5, there must be as many as 5 Howling films. Then, I think when I was almost 16, I saw a bit of Howling 6 on TV, but I insisted on watching the films in the right order, yes, because that way it's silly if you watch, you want to, otherwise the story doesn't make a lot of sense unless you watch it in the right order, yeah. Anyway, yes, there will be spoilers in this review, yeah. I saw An American Werewolf in London when I was about 21, and yes, very impressive transformation sequence, yeah. And then, about 6 years later, I saw The Howling properly from the start, yeah, and I was amazed when halfway through the film, there was this amazing state-of-the-art animatronic transformation sequence changing from man to werewolf. And I thought, wait a minute, excuse me. This is before An American Werewolf in London. So all those film buffs that say An American Werewolf in London was the first one ever to do it, to actually show the transformation sequence. They don't imply it, they actually show it. No, it wasn't. It wasn't the first to do it. An American Werewolf in London is a good film, don't get me wrong. I just think that, no, The Howling did it first. Well, technically, The Howling was made in 1980, but didn't get released until 1981. And it had, the poster, it said the greatest transformation sequence you've ever seen ever. And it was. For about 3 months. And then An American Werewolf got full credit for that. So, no. The Howling did it first, yeah. And The Howling, in my opinion, the greatest werewolf movie ever made. I mean, yes, there's The Curse of the Werewolf, The Wolf Man, An American Werewolf in London. And they're all good, yeah, just in different ways. Yeah, it's just, in my opinion, The Howling's the best. I suppose because there's more than one werewolf. Yeah, there's like a little community of them. Yeah, and it had more characters, more story, more issues raised here and there. Yeah, and just a better story. And you know that feeling when you see a film and you feel like something's missing. Well, anyway, in An American Werewolf in London and The Company of Wolves and other werewolf movies, a werewolf can be killed by regular guns. And I was disappointed when that happened, because no, you need a silver bullet. That's part of folklore. Only silver can kill a werewolf, yeah. And the other thing I liked was they don't change into werewolves when it's a full moon. No, they can change anywhere, any place, any time, day or night. They're shapeshifters, yeah. And the other thing I liked about this was I've seen other werewolf movies where the werewolf runs about on all fours. And I'm like, no. A werewolf stands upright on 2 legs, like him, yeah. Because that's what makes it terrifying. Something that's a scary animal and human at the same time. That makes it really frightening. Whereas sometimes if it just runs about on all fours, it's just like a regular wolf, So yes, I prefer ones on 2 legs. But I guess over the centuries, there's been different versions of werewolf. It's a matter of opinion. It's debatable what makes the perfect werewolf, yeah. Okay, the story, right. I knew it was directed by Joe Dante. Yes, he's a director, right, Mark? Oh, yeah, and the woman that's called Terry in this film, I think she was played by the same actress that was in Piranha, that was also a Joe Dante film. Anyway, it has Dee Wallace, she's the star, and she went on to be really famous because she was the mother in E.T., yeah. In this film, she plays a news lady, a reporter, and she's being stalked by this bloke called Eddie Quist. Well, he's more than a stalker; he's a serial killer. So he's a really dangerous man. And what she does is she responds to his phone call. She pretends to fancy him so that she can meet him up, but really it's a trap so the police can capture the killer. Yeah. And, some werewolf movies, they tell you it's about a werewolf right from day one, right from the start. The Howling is a bit different. The filmmakers wanted to be a little more discreet, They don't reveal that it's a werewolf movie until about halfway through the film. Yeah, so all we know is there's a very, very dangerous killer out there, yeah. And so yeah, if you didn't know it was a werewolf movie, that would make it a shock when you find out halfway through the film. Yeah. Anyway, Eddie Quist, played by Robert Picardo, who gives a great performance. He normally plays good guys or mild-mannered people. He's most known for playing the hologram, the Doctor in Star Trek Voyager. But in this, no, he's really creepy, really scary with his voice. He puts the chills in you. Yeah, he's a frightening man, yeah. Anyway, when he thinks that Karen White fancies him, and he says, there's something I'm going to show you, Karen, it's going to blow your mind. And he starts changing, getting sharp claws, a big like dog-like nose. But it's in a very dark room, so we, the audience, can't clearly see what's happening. Then Karen White screams in terror. The police come in and shoot, Eddie Quist, and he's dead, or officially dead, and taken to the morgue. And something happened that terrified Karen White so much, but she can't remember. It was so horrifying, it gave her some sort of trauma, so she can't remember it, yeah. So we finally find out what it was nearer the end of the film. Anyway, she thinks, I can't remember what it was, but what that happened in that dark room. It was clearly terrifying. I don't think I want to remember what it was, yeah. But her husband says to her, but not remembering isn't helping. You can't sleep, can't do normal day-to-day things, you can't do a news reader job properly. So the only way is to go to what they call the colony, which is like a place and like a village in the countryside near the sea. And there's other people like her that have mental problems. And this psychiatrist, who's like a TV psychiatrist doctor, will help her. Because you see, if you know and understand what it was that frightened you so much, it can help you get over it, help you deal with it, Because not remembering is not helping Karen White, so she has to do it, yeah. And yes, a little in-joke. Yes, there are bits of dry humour here and there. When she says, okay, we're going to a place, a lot of people with mentally disturbed problems. And she says, I hope these people aren't too weird. Yes, dry humour. We find out they are werewolves. Okay, I don't think you can get much weirder than that. Yeah. Anyway, Patrick Macnee, yes, an actor we know from Battlestar Galactica, and he plays John Steed in the Avengers. He shows a bit more sympathy with the werewolf. And yes, another spoiler alert here. He's sympathetic because he is a werewolf himself, yeah. But also, no, he thinks he's trying to teach these werewolves how to eat cattle or eat sheep and pigs, or eat things that are not human, basically. And they say the humans are our cattle, we've got to eat them. We don't identify them as equals, they're things to eat. And Patrick Macnee says, yeah, but the risk of exposure, if we get found out, if this goes public, then, well, we'll be hunted down and all werewolves will be extinct. We have to find a way to compensate, to find a way for humans and werewolves to coexist so that nobody gets killed, nobody's unhappy, yeah. And he says, you've got to channel your energy, yeah. And he even writes a book called The Gift, saying everyone's got this animal within them. It's just a question of channeling your energy. Sometimes having animal instincts is good, like the desire to protect someone. That's a good thing, yeah. Anyway, as the story progresses, Karen White gets to know all these people. They're all of different ages, here, there, and everywhere, yeah. And her husband, called Bill, Marsha, she likes trying her luck on the boys a lot, yeah. She tries her luck on Bill, but he refuses, he rejects her, yeah. Oh, yeah, and Bill is a vegetarian, but he goes out with the other men on a hunting spree in the woods. Right, so he thinks it's okay to kill animals for fun, but he doesn't believe you should eat them. Whereas one of the other werewolves says to him, no, it's the other way round. It's a sin to kill something if you're not going to eat it. Yeah, what a waste, yeah. Oh, yes, and there's a bit when it's very dark in the woods. And yes, Karen White is not in her element. She's a city girl. Now she's in the middle of in a cottage in the woods. And we find out why the movie's called The Howling, this really eerie howling noise of all these wolves. Are they regular wolves or are they all werewolves? Well, we can't see them, we can just hear them. But that noise they make, it sounds like humans howling in pain or moaning in despair. Oh God, it's really eerie, really creepy, like the end of the world, yeah. Or like you're in a lunatic asylum. Oh, it's so creepy, so eerie, yeah. And even though they can turn to werewolves any time, I guess because they howl at a full moon. And that could be where the misinterpretation, that's why people think it's the moon that's turning into werewolves. No, it isn't. They could turn into werewolves anyway. And then Bill, who has been bitten by a werewolf, we don't clearly see that they're werewolves. We just sort of like glimpses of them, yeah. Oh, and Eddie has escaped from the morgue, by the way, because he's not human. That's how he got away. And anyway, yes, basically, Bill has an affair with Marsha. He rejected her before, but his character has changed. Oh, and he's eating meat now. Yes, that's changed. He's not vegetarian anymore. And they make love by the fire, huge big roaring bonfire, a beautiful moment. Well, it changes from beautiful to a hideous moment because then they start sprouting fangs and growing lots of fur. Oh, God, yes, that spoils the moment. Well, it doesn't spoil the moment if you're a werewolf, but yes, there's no longer any doubt about it. There are werewolves among us, yeah. They gave little hints, but now we see, yes, definitely werewolves in this movie, yeah. And then Karen White finds out he's been cheating because she sees scratches on his back, yeah. Oh, and she's had enough. She wants to get out of this colony place, but the werewolves won't let them leave, yeah. And then we see the character Terry. She comes to the colony, takes lots of photographs because she's a reporter, yeah. Gets attacked by a werewolf, barely manages to escape with her life because she chops his hand off, and the werewolf hand turns into a regular human hand. That is based on an old legend of when that happened. When you chop a bit off, it turns back into a human. That seems to be how the mechanism works, yeah. And then after that, oh yes, the transformation sequence, very impressive, done by Rob Bottin. I think he worked on The Thing from Another World, the remake. Yes, he's very good at state-of-the-art shape-shifting animatronic stuff, yeah. And when Karen White, she sees Eddie Quist, he has a hole in his head where he was shot, not dead, but hurt and very annoyed, yeah. And she sees the bullet wound in his head, and Karen White says, "Hello, Eddie, I haven't missed you. I've missed you like a hole in the head." Okay, she doesn't actually say that, but that would have been a good pun if she had. Instead, Eddie pulls the bullet out of his head right in front of her, and at the same time says, "I want to give you a piece of my mind," yeah. And then he changes. Now, when he transforms, it's very impressive because his cheeks and his fingers, they sort of all wobble a lot, yeah, because it's very stretchy skin. Well, it has to be, doesn't it? So it can stretch, so he can transform into the werewolf, yeah. And slowly we see it in all its great detail. His nose, his snout grows longer, the fangs sprout, the claws come up, ears go longer, and his size changes. He gets taller, bigger, and stronger. Why does Karen White stand perfectly still? Why doesn't she run for her life? Well, because she stands perfectly still, because she is actually secretly grabbing something from behind her. It's a jar of acid and throws that in his face. That doesn't kill him, but that hurts him a lot. Yes, it gives her... The distraction works, she manages to run away. And, the dude from Unidentified Flying Oddball is in it. That's a Disney comedy film, so totally different. Yeah, the actor in it, he plays the guy that gets the silver bullets from the Gothic shop, gets in a fast car, and Eddie doesn't know he has silver bullets, so gives him the gun back and says, "Do what you want," yeah, and he shoots him with a silver bullet, and Eddie ends up dead. And then he shoots more werewolves with silver bullets. And, before being killed, the doctor, Patrick McNee, he says to us, "No, don't kill the news lady, because the risk of exposure. She's well known. People will come looking for her," but they won't listen. He gets shot, and then the guy with the silver bullets orders them all to get into the barn so they can burn them. Plus, he's running out of silver bullets, so the only other way to kill them is to burn them. Can fire kill them? Well, they're trying desperately to get out of the barn, so clearly they don't like it, yeah. And Karen White and her friend manage to get away, but just before they get away, she's bitten by another werewolf and she doesn't die. If you don't die when being bitten, then, chances are you'll turn into a werewolf. She's a newsreader, so when she's reading the news, it's live. She says to everyone has the choice of whether or not they behave like an animal or behave like a civilized human. Well, some people do not have that choice. They're werewolves, a secret cult that lives among us. And then she turns into a werewolf on national television. And then her friend shoots her with a silver bullet, because that's what she wanted. Does it work? Nope. The people seeing it on television assume it's special effects. They don't believe it. They're more determined ever that werewolves don't exist. So the plan backfires, yes. What she should have done was turn into a werewolf on stage in front of a live audience. They'd have to believe it if they saw it for real, yeah. And one last bit of dry humour at the end. Marsha has just pulled a man at a bar, And he offers to buy her a burger. How do you like it, honey? And she says, rare. Yeah, okay, yeah. So hint, hint, she's going to eat him up later. So in other words, yes, I think werewolves standing upright and being shot with silver bullets, those are two of the main ingredients you need for a good werewolf story. Okay, thank you for watching. I'm Anthony Hobbs, and I'm never bored.